Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Night Spectrum here. So recently we got that pre-register event where we are going to be receiving like a tier 2 selector, and that made me think like there must be a lot of players, a lot of newer players or returning players that might be wondering on who they should use this to like make it the most beneficial investment. So today we're going to try to tackle that question. I've prepared a top 10 list, which is in my opinion, of course, of the top 10 tier 2 characters in the game which are non-tier 3, non-awakened, non-transcended characters, just pure tier 2 characters, monsters. And also these are characters that are in their base look like they do not require uniforms. I'm not considering ones which become like god tier with their uniforms, like Moon Knight. Even Moon Knight at even level 60 with his uniform is a god tier character, but we are not considering characters which have uniforms. So we are talking base kit and base skin characters. So the list, I'll add the list in the screen later on so you can have a clear screenshot. But number one on the list, we all know who it is, Cersei. No doubt there. Undoubtedly like the best non-awakened and non-tier freeable character in the game. Insane burst damage. She has this passive for all Eternals allies, which paves the way for more Eternals, and also that she'll be a really important support to them both in PvE and PvP. And yeah, her free 5-4 combo is just so deadly. You can basically one shot any wall boss ultimate with it. So yeah, Cersei takes the cake. Incredible PvE monster. Just can do any PvE game mode that she is applicable to, and does it so well, especially wall boss, since she has this accumulation on damage taken. This is the Sharon Rogers accumulation. We all know how devastating it is with her. So yeah, that's Cersei number one. So number two for me is Scarlet Spider. As soon as we can find him, here he is. So Scarlet Spider is a bit like Cersei, except he doesn't hit as hard as Cersei, but it's the same way of playing. He's a same deadly one-shot character. He can one-shot any wall boss ultimate like Proxima, easy one-shot Thanos, easy one-shot I forgot his name. What's his name? Yes, Corvus Slave, easy one shot, and he can do some PvP as well, some low level PvP. He has this counter attack skill, where when he gets attacked, he counter attacks a bit like when Silver Surfer gets attacked, he can counter attack, but it's not that level, but it's something. And he also has this incredible support for Spider Sense allies. Like if ever Spider-Man gets a Matter uniform, you automatically have the best support in the game for him, which will be Scarlet Spider. And yeah, in general, just an amazing PvE character. Can do some PvP at low level. It works with an obelisk. It has a very smooth 3-5-4 combo. So yeah, very easy to play and very strong character to invest in. And also he does that floor, but I think it's floor 33 in Shadowland, that Spider Sense character floor, which is so annoying if you do not have a good Spider Sense character. Like any other Spider Sense character need a uniform to perform in that floor, except of course I forgot his name. Except wait, let me look for him. Wait, except Arachnite, because he doesn't need a uniform to do that, but he's an heroic quest character, so he's more expensive. So that's why Scarlet Spider is the best free-to-play option for that floor. Otherwise, you could just burst through with tier 3s, but having Scarlet Spider allows you to save that tier 3 for higher floors. So number 3 on the list for me is another spider character, but it's not a spider, it's a symbiote. Scream. For me, Scream she has a lot of value because she's a female and a villain. We all know how that typing is very rare and very important in the game. She might be the best free-to-play female villain, if I'm not wrong. Like yeah, you have Mystique and Moonstone up, but they are Crystal Wall characters, and Scream is fully free to play. She has this huge buff here, 50-50, basically a bit like V2 or versus and Scar Spider. She can one shot, she can do some ABX for you, easy get you. If you're looking just for 600k, boom, Scream is here, easy 600k. Overall, extremely easy, friendly to play, like she works even with a damage proc. So yeah, extremely precious character with her typing, female, villain and combat. So number 4 on the list is another enemy of it's not Abomination, it's, where is he, yeah, Scorpion. Scorpion for me is very underrated because he's really good for a tier 2 character. He hits really hard, he can do a lot of content, and he does war boss really great, and he has a 55% all defense down. We have a 6 second of invincibility, and this skill, when you continuous tap it, it has various more effects that are added to it. He has paralysis which ignores immunity. Overall, very solid character. He's constantly healing, he has this bonus damage, huge buffs, extremely solid character overall for world boss and PvE content like that, where he's applicable to. Like, he can't do the RX because he doesn't have a tier 3 or a Transcended skill, but for a tier 2 character he's really solid. So number 5 on the list for me is Dr. Voodoo. Dr. Voodoo as a standalone character is not that impressive, but with his leadership, this increase all debuff effects by 40% leadership. This is a really precious leadership. He is the only free-to-play character which has this leadership. Like, we know Enchantress has it, but she's paywall, and White Fox has it, but she is Crystal Wall as a heroic Christ character. Yeah, so that's why Dr. Voodoo is really precious, because he can buff all those, like, you know, if you have a Sentry, like Sentry, if you got him from the Epic Quest and you buff him with Voodoo, his ignore defense, all defense down, it goes over 100%. Not ignore defense, my bad, I'm talking about all defense down. It goes over 100%. So if you combo this leadership with your high all defense down characters, it's just pure chaos. It just allows you to buzz through world boss ultimates so easily. That's why Dr. Voodoo is so, for me, he's so precious. And also he can do some squad battle. He can get you your 800k if you get him to like level 64 or 66, so that he can bypass some of those dodge mechanisms. But when you're not level 70, you have a lot of your attacks dodge in squad battle, so just level him up a bit so you can bypass that. Or you can just use Ghost Rider Robbie Ray's leadership with him. Number 6 on the list for me is another female supervillain, is Viper. Viper, because on her own she's a very good character, and she also has a self-leading leadership, so she leads herself. She has all these amazing buffs like critical rate, granted dodge rate, she has invincibility, she has a lot of survivability, she has 3 seconds of ignores immunity of paralysis here, so you can just mine on a, it's on a almost 6.5 second cooldown, so you can cast this skill and have a boss for half of the time mind controlled in wall boss. Just her only problem is her 5th skill's targeting is a bit iffy, so sometimes the enemy just moves half an inch and she loses the targeting. But other than that, she's very solid. She can do some ABX for you, she can do wall boss ultimate, really solid, and plus she has her own self-leading leadership. Number 7 on the list for me is Darkhawk. Darkhawk is a very solid character. I think a lot of people have forgotten about him, but he is actually really good as a standalone character, mostly because of his buff. He has this increased damage to supervillain by 30% buff, which applies to himself, of course, but it's really something. And as a new player, he is really easy to cap his stats because he already has base 20% ignore defense, and yet he has insane huge 40 buffs. He has, I think, has all defense down as well. No, he doesn't have all defense down. Okay, so no, he does, yeah, it's on his 2nd skill. That's why I was wondering, like, I know he had all defense down, where did it go? And here it is on his 2nd skill. He has this accumulation based on damage dealt, he has HP recovery, very tanky character, and he will help you through a lot of game modes. So really solid choice as well. Number 8 for me is another universal type, is Shadow Shell. Another character that a lot of people tend to forget how good she is, but she is really good, mostly because she has this accumulation, this Sharon Rogers accumulation. Like, when you cast this, especially in Shadowland and Wall Boss, you'll notice this does tremendous damage. Like, this buffs her attack so much. And yeah, she has this mechanism here which constantly refreshes her skills to 1 second. She can be awakened. That's like, Shadow Shell is the only exception I made on this list, is that she can be awakened, but she, in her base kit, like, she doesn't have any uniform. That's why I made an exception and included Shadow Shell in this. And also she has this buff to Warrior of the Skies allies when she gives them damage reduction and increased defenses. So if you're thinking of getting other Warriors of the Sky, like, free to play, you have the one which is a combat type. I don't remember his name. Let's go look for him. War Tiger, I think. Yeah, War Tiger. Yeah, War Tiger is also free to play, so you instantly have like a PvP buff for him in Shadow Shell. And standalone universal, she can do all World Boss ultimate that she is applicable to, like the ones that like more she can't do, because I think she can do more. I haven't tried it, but yeah, she will have some damage reduction because of the physical attack. But other than that, she's a really solid character on her own, mostly because, as I said, because of this accumulation. So number 9 on the list for me is a female universal villain, Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay is on this list because she is very rare as a typing, like as a universal villain female. Like, you have very good universal villains, but you have to get their uniforms. Like, for Cosmic Ghost Rider, you need his uniform. Loki, you need his uniform. And the other universal villains are really expensive, like Thanos and Null and all that. But she is free to play, and she is very decent. She can easily get you your 600k in ABX to get that card chest. She can do some Wall Boss, some Shadowland. She heals. She has this increase when you tier to her. She has this increase to all her summons, so she hits even harder. And she has the same mechanism as Shadow Shell to refresh and reset the cooldown on her skills, which is comes in very clutch. And she also has a revive, which is really insane for some low-level PvP, because she doesn't have enough stats or buffs to keep up with high PvP, but pardon for that, but for low-level PvP, she's very good for some conquest and all that. And last on the list for me, I think this one is gonna cause a bit of ruckus, but for me it's Ancient One. Yeah, Ancient One, because not only does he have a 750 crystal uniform, this uniform, when you buy it, you can use it as a leadership in squad battle for your Sharon Rogers in squad battle challenge league. But also, on his own, Ancient One isn't that impressive, but he has an incredible leadership. He's decent, but he's not that incredible as a standalone. But his leadership and his tier 2 are what gives him a lot of value. So his tier 2 gives ignore dodge by 25% to all allies and increase elemental damage. So elemental damage like poison, like cold, like all that, poison, cold, and there's more like fire, like all this elemental damage. He increases it by 25%, and he also can do some alliance conquest with his summons, and then with a heal bubble. But the reason I chose Ancient One is because in Wall Boss he does this skill. He does this remove debuff skill that stays as a bubble, not a bubble, but like it casted on the field, and it stays there. And when you walk in that, you have immunity to all debuff, which is incredibly important in Wall Boss Ultimate, where you constantly have poison dropping on you, you have tornadoes around, you have the blizzards that take away your buffs, and especially in Wall Boss Legend, where in Null, like Null can just stun lock you and then kill you. Ancient One, with Ancient One around, that's never gonna happen, right? And also Ancient One has the leadership tag, which means that he has the striker effect of increasing your damage against supervillain types. So he can be in a single character a leadership for World Boss, a striker for world boss and a support for world boss. So you have very insane value here. For me, he deserves it. He's still, like, as a standalone character, he's not that impressive, but it's his passives that makes him really, really great. So yeah, that's it for me for this list. I hope that this helps some of you guys to choose and to select your tier 2 based on what you have learned from this video, if this was ever helpful to you, and I hope that it was. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, wash your hands, all the good stuff.